Hello, students and receiving teachers and class. Thank you. You may sit down. Hi, teachers. We are still on the same strand, 7.1.1. Same outcome, 7.1.1. We're still on the same strand also. And before we go into our lesson topic, remember the last picture that we showed you. Let's have a look at that picture again. What do you think will happen? Anyone? First hand up. Let's see. The first hand. Clement? Thank you, Clement. Clement will give us the answer. Let's see, Clement. What do you think will happen, Clement?
The plant will trap the dragonfly.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Very good. Any other answers? Apart from Clement's answer. Tara. We'll have Tara.
The dragonfly will trap by the Venus flytrap.
Right. Thank you for the answer. Let's see if we are correct. Right. It is trapped by the Venus flytrap. So once the dragonfly sits on it, there are tiny hair threads like small hair sticking out from the plant. So when the dragonfly sits on it, it triggers and the Venus flytrap just shuts automatically. Right. So that brings us to our next topic. Our next topic is, what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen is our next topic. I have brought some plant with me. Would you like to hold one here? Hold one. Show it to the class. I'll hold the other one. It's... She's holding on to that one. You show it to the other class. I'll show it to the other side. To the other group, I'll show it. It's a whaling nut, spelled S. W-H-I-R-L-I-N-G. I'll have our friend here to describe it to you.
The willing nut has two leaves, single leaves, and underneath of it is a round shaped, and it carries a leaf, two leaves out there.
Good. Anything else? Thank you. Yes, Michael? You want to add some more description? Class. She said it has two leaves. Why do you think we have these two leaves? This seed grows from a very tall tree. Buckley, yes? You'd like to give us what you're thinking?
This leaf looks like a spindly leaf. It is long and sharp edges.
Mm-hmm. Can you show it to the class so they see what you are describing? If I drop this leaf, this seed here, how do you think it will move? What do you think will happen? If I drop this leaf. Any others? Yeah, good. I see people talking. So who's got the answer? Who will give me the answer first? Shannon?
The seed will pull the leaf down.
Thank you, Shannon, for your answer. We have Buckley again.
The bottom of the leaf is round and heavy, so when you drop it, it will spin and
It will spin. Okay, you hold on to one and let's see if it will spin. Let's drop at the same time. Come here for the class to see. Use together, same lines. Ready? On our count, 1, 2, 3. You want to see that again? Yeah. Okay, I'll hold it a bit higher. Okay. He said it will spin, so let's see if it spins. Nice, eh? You can find this at home. Right. So thank you for all that answers. Receiving teachers and students, if you have brought your materials in front, we will continue straight to our activities. Let's see if you have brought your materials for your activity, which is the marble, ruler, and your notebook. As we'll be identifying ways to increase the distance of the marbles that is being used. Right. You asked to bring a ruler with a groove. You asked to bring a ruler with a groove. Now, let's have a look at this ruler here. The ruler has a groove. The ruler has a groove, but when we place the marble on, at the edge of the ruler there is a stop, or the edge of the ruler is not quite, but it is thick, so it stops the marble from traveling. The same speed that it travels is slowed down when it bumps the edge of the ruler. So in this case, we will not use the ruler with the groove. But if you have a ruler with the groove and does not have a stop at the edge, you can use that. But if you do not have that, there are two ways which I would like you to use. So one is using a folded paper. So if you have a hard cardboard, a folded paper, you fold it in a V shape. A V shape. So you can use it as a channel for the marble to roll down. Secondly, your second option to use is you either use two rulers. Now you have two rulers. If you have two rulers, this is what you're going to do. Since the ruler with the groove is not quite suitable for the activity, you will use two of the ruler. You place it on an object which you will be using is your exercise book. You place it down and allow about 5 millimeters spacing between the two rulers. This will provide the track for your marble to roll down. So it will be easy for you. If you use the groove has the edge where it stops the speed of the marble. So use the two ruler, allow only 5 millimeters spacing between the two rulers, and try if your marble rolls down freely. But before we do that, let's go to the table, which you will look at. The table, receiving teachers and students, the table in your book has been modified or changed. So we will look at the changes of the table that we made. So your eyes to the front, let's look at the table in front. The prediction table, activity table, sorry, the prediction column has been moved forward after the first column, which is identifying the methods. So we have identified the methods, the first column. The second column for your prediction, and the third column, divided into two smaller columns, is the distance, first, second, third distance, and we have the results after you measure that. Now, what are we going to do next? Any guess? Before you do the activity, you must always predict. So you have your prediction table here. Our first method of increasing the speed of the marble is we are using the thickness of the book. Who can show me the thickness of the book? An exercise book.
This is the thickness of the book. When you hold it, you feel that the book is thick. So this is the thickness of the book.
The thickness of the book is how this big, this thick. If you hold the exercise book between your fingers, that is the thickness. So the first method is using the thickness of the book. The other two methods which you will use to measure is, you will do that and discuss in your group. Let's go straight into our prediction. I'll give you 2 minutes to predict your first method of measuring the distance traveled by marbles. Are you all shown what to do? Okay. Here. Prediction. When we are predicting the distance it will travel. We are predicting the distance it will travel when we use the height of the book. For example, if I'm using the the thickness. If I'm using the thickness of this object here, if I'm using the thickness of this object, which is this thick, about 3 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters thick, then I'm predicting how far will the marble travel. So after this, we'll be using open space on the floor. So we will be predicting how far the marble will travel if we let it roll down, and when it comes to a complete stop, then we take the measurement. But before we take the measurement, we predict the distance it will travel. So if we roll the marble, it will continue on traveling. So I must predict how far it will travel, or the distance it will take to travel. So if we place the marble, it takes, it's blocked by the cloth, until it comes to a stop. So nothing must stop it. When it comes to a stop, then we take the measurement of the distance it traveled. So right now, you predict the first one. If you use the thickness of the book, how far will it travel? If you use a different method, how far will it travel? If you use something else, a tin or a block or something else, then how far will it travel? All clear? Okay. I'll give you 5 seconds to predict. Let's have a group prediction. When you predict, then we will go through. When you finish your prediction, we will go through. And when finished, we should have an example of a group's prediction with us. Pass this to the back. Let's have one group's prediction. Anyone would like to predict us? Give us the prediction. Okay, Daisy for her group. Daisy, give your group's prediction. How far will it travel? Daisy here on the board. Okay, Daisy and the group. What's your unit? Okay, we'll have 2 more groups for the first one. Callan, 0.5. Remember, it will travel along the ruler and continue until it stops. So what will be the distance? You sure? It's a very big distance. It's a very big distance, a small object. Okay, thank you. Last one. Okay. Right. We shall continue to our activity. The first method that you will be using is the thickness of your exercise book. So you will be using your exercise book, the thickness of your exercise book, and measure the distance. You will not be using the surface of your table. You will find a space beside your table and do your activity. Move your chairs in so you will use space. Move your chairs in so you have space. Amen. You come this way. You go this way. Amen. This way. You go this way. Which group are you? Okay, you roll that way. Your instructions on the board here. Your instructions are here on the board. Refer to your instructions. Mark the distance where it stops with the chalk. Please, are you okay? Where's your ruler? No. Where's the ruler that you're supposed to use? Gee, you're doing the wrong thing. Do that and I'll stick you. Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Understood? You get the ruler and do something good.
Sorry.
What kind of thickness? So is the thickness the same or different thickness or?
Yeah, different.
Okay. Then you write your method for method 2. Mark where it stops and mark with the chalk. Sorry, excuse me. Right, mark where it stops and measure. Here, chalk here. Use the chalk. On where the marble stops, not after the marble. On it, yes. And actually, okay. Now you measure from there. So do not move the book. So where's your start? So how can you make the marble move from there? How can you increase the distance? How many centimeters? 46. So how can you increase the distance? Let's increase the distance. I'm 46. So you walk, let's try to make it travel a longer distance. Is there any other way we can do that? What are we going to do? Okay, let's try. Attention, first method is already been done for you, which is the thickness of the book. Second and third method, you will have to find it yourself. How can you make the marble travel a much more longer distance than the first one? So second method is up to you. How you find to make the marble travel further. And the third one also. Okay. Third method. You're supposed to be there. That means you did not give a prediction. A prediction, but always prediction first. The prediction is important. It will give you, when you predict, it helps you to be much more accurate. So the next time you do the same thing, you'll try to predict almost. Prediction is not the wrong answer. It is what you think will happen. Okay. Those who are finished, you look at your first, second, third method and try to summarize or answer the last question. Which predictions? You didn't write down the predictions. Okay, thank you. Let's move to our tables. Let's all move to our tables if we are finished. Right, could I have the group that gave us their prediction? The first group that gave us the prediction to give us the actual findings of the actual measurement of the distance traveled by the marble. The first three groups that gave us the predictions to come up and fill the actual measurements that were taken by the first method, which is the thickness of the book. So the first three groups, the first three people, which is Shannon's group. Daisy, can you come up and give us from Shannon's group? Write down the actual measurement. And the second one was Talon. And the last group was Glenda. Others? Yes, the actual distance that you measured from the first method, which is this. So group one, the first group predicted 0.5 centimeters. So what is your actual distance when you use the first method? Thank you. Daisy, Galen is our next group. Now look up. Yes, is here. All right, thank you, Galen. The last group, Glenda. All right. So let's have a look at the predictions. Group 1 prediction, and for the first method, group 1 predicted, the first group predicted 0.5 centimeters. The actual measurement was 63. Second group predicted 80 kilometers, which is very big unit. 80 centimeters would have been fine. Anyway, thank you. The actual measurement was 51.1. Third group, 82.5 centimeters. The actual measurement was 77.5 centimeters. Now look at your three methods. What do you find in your three methods? The first method is the thickness of the book. The second method, you tried something else. And the third method. So every time you tried to increase the distance, what did you do? What did you find out? Anyone? Okay, our friend.
First method use thickness of one book. Second method use thickness of two books. Third method use thickness of three books.
So what did your group find out?
First method we use a thickness of exercise book, and second method we use a distance of thickness of worksheet book, and last one we use worksheet book and exercise book, and distance moved Second one is 80.5 centimeter, and exercise book and worksheet book distance is 104 centimeter.
Which method has the longer distance when you did your activity? The first one, the second one, or the third one? Third one had the longest distance. What were you doing every time? Of course you were measuring, but what were you doing to increase the distance? What were you doing to increase the distance? Thank you. Francis will give us the answer.
We were adding extra thickness of the book.
You were adding extra thickness of the book. So what were you doing? Extra thickness means you were, what were you increasing? Someone please, what were you increasing? Some people, okay, Michael. Girls, girls, girls. Boys are winning the answers. Come on, girls. You were increasing the thickness. So what were you doing? You were putting books and books and books on top.
Height.
You were increasing the height. So when you increase the height, what happened to the distance of the marble? Karen?
It can move further and further.
Further and further, meaning the distance increased. Right. Did you think? Okay. Our summary point, which you have already summarized. So summary point is only one. To increase distance, we raise the height of the inclined plane. So that by putting a ruler over the book is an example of an inclined plane, which you will look at further in our lessons. Our key phrase for today will be, anyone would like to read us the key phrase? Class, read the key phrase.
Raising height, increasing distance.
Right, that is what you did today, using the inclined plane. Our next lesson topic will be keeping in touch. Lesson 1. The materials that we will need to bring in our next lesson is charts, bigger charts, drawing, papers, A3 size or any blank papers, markers, sugar, petri dish. If you do not have petri dish, you may improvise the petri dish, and toothpicks. With that, thank you class and receiving students and teachers.